Good morning, and happy new year, TRS members. Thank you so much for joining us today on this January 2nd, 2024. Wow, I can't even believe that I'm saying 2024, but we are here, and I'm so glad that you made it here with us. So, today we are going to have a 30-minute session on your TRS benefit, and you may or may not have seen one of these sessions before. If it's your first time, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Some of you are probably in your pre-planning days for the rest of this semester. It might still be off. Wherever you are, we just thank you for carving out some time out of your busy schedule to be with us. So we are going to go over it again, your TRS benefit. We do have some people that are here, some staff members from TRS that are in the chat. So as I go through the presentation today, feel free to drop your questions there and we'll get those answered. And I'll also stop at the end to do a Q&A session. If you haven't already, if you're here with us on YouTube, on LinkedIn, or Twitter, if you're not a subscriber, if you're not following us, please go ahead and do so and leave us a like while you're at it. If you know somebody that could benefit from this information, make sure that they are aware of this session that we're doing today. And who knows, you might learn something that'll get you closer to retirement. You might be eligible for retirement already. I know this is aimed for our new members, but some of you, this might be your second career, and there might be some things that you learned today that might get you very close to your retirement benefit. So without further ado, I will go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and get my screen up here, and you all should see your TRS benefit retirement planning 101. So your TRS benefit, what exactly is that? Your benefit is a pension plan that is guaranteed by the state of Georgia, and it is defined by a preset formula. A defined benefit plan is something that you guarantee, that is guaranteed to you for the rest of your lifetime. It's not like your 401k, it's not like defined contribution plans where the stock market or the economy determines what is in your account at any particular time. You have a preset benefit that is guaranteed for life. And again, it's based on a formula that we'll go over in just a minute. And there's also a possibility that you could leave your benefit to your beneficiaries. So even after you've passed, there are options where a benefit can be passed on to survivors and they can receive a lifetime benefit as well. So that formula that we use is we take your years of creditable service, we multiply that by 2%. And from that percentage, we take of your high average salary. Your high average salary is your highest 2 consecutive years of salary, wherever that falls in your career. And we'll multiply everything together to get your basic benefit under the max plan. And the max plan is just one of the options that we have. You'll have several options to choose from, but that doesn't happen until it's time to retire. So while you're working is not necessarily something that you have to be concerned about, but at the time that you put your retirement application in, then you'll choose one of these options. So we have an example here for somebody that works 30 years. We'll multiply that 30 years by 60%, by 2% to give you 60%. And their high average salary over the highest 2 consecutive years in their career was $5,536.83. And therefore, we got the max plan benefit of 33, 22, and 10 cents. So again, they will get to choose, or you will get to choose that plan, the max plan, or one of the other options that is available to you. Now, there is a maximum amount that you can have in your retirement benefit. You can have up to 40 years of creditable service. And that 40 years of service can be a combination of years that you work. It can be sick leave as well as other service purchases. And we'll go over that in just a minute. Now, what comes out of your TRS benefit when you take that is your federal and state income taxes. So right now you're paying into the plan before any taxes come out. And at the time that you receive your retirement benefit, it'll be those federal and state income taxes, depending on which state that you live in. And then if you are eligible for the state health benefit plan, then you can continue that in your retirement. So those will be the three things that will come out of your TRS benefit. Now, the state that you reside in determines what your deduction will be as far as your state income taxes are concerned. So, for example, here in the state of Georgia, when you turn 62, you are exempt from the first 35,000 of your state income taxes at the time of your retirement. And then when you turn 65, you are exempt from the first 65,000 of your state income taxes. So depending on where you reside, when you retire, that will determine what your reductions will be as far as the state income taxes are concerned. And if you happen to stay in a state where it doesn't have the state income taxes in retirement, then you wouldn't be subject to those. So that's just a quick overview of how your taxes will work in your retirement. All right, let's get our screen to advance here. All right. So when can you retire? How soon can you retire? There's three different ways. The most common type of retirement that we have is a normal service retirement, and that's where you retire with 30 years of service at any age, or if you have at least 10 years of service and 60 years of age. Now, the percentage that you're going to get is again going to be based on your years of creditable service at the time that you retire. So if you have 30 years of service, when you retire, then you'll have 60%. You have 35 years of service, that'll be 70%. If you have 10 years of service with that 60 years of age, that'll be 20%. So the longer you work, the more years of service you have, the higher that percentage of your salary will be. We also have a disability retirement, and disability retirement is where you're eligible for a retirement at any age based on a condition that prevents you from working. So you have to have at least 10 years of service. There's no reduction to your retirement benefit based on your age. And if you have questions about that, we like to get you in touch with a disability counselor. So definitely use our contact us link on our website if you have specific questions about a disability retirement. And then lastly, we have an early service retirement option where you have at least 25 years of service. You don't have the 30 yet, and you don't have the 60 years of age yet. So you can retire under that circumstance. However, it is a reduced retirement benefit. So the reduction that we will apply will either be based on your age or your years of service, whichever are lesser of the two. The difference between the years of service of up to 30 or 60 years of age, then the lesser penalty will apply. But basically, it's about 7% per year for every year under either 30 years of service or 60 years of age. So that could be quite a steep penalty, but in some cases, it does make sense for some people to take an early service option. Now, these are the different types of services that will count towards your TRS benefit. You have three types, which are your membership service, your purchase service, and then unused sick leave. The membership service is the service that you're working for. So every day that you come to work, you are earning service credit towards your retirement benefit. For most of us, 9 months makes a full year. So if you have 9 months of service between July and June, then you have your full year in. For some staff that are a part of the university system, 8 months makes a full year. So typically, a lot of people will have their full year service in by April or May. Now, any service that counts towards membership service is the service that is half-time or greater, and it has to be in a permanent position. So if you're doing part-time work, or let's say you're teaching at night school, those are temporary positions, and that would not count towards your membership credit. Only permanent positions that are half-time or more, 50% or more. You can also buy service towards your TRS benefit, and there's a host of different types of service purchases that can be applied towards your TRS benefit. For example, one is withdrawing service, and that is where you've worked for a TRS covered employer, stopped working, and took your contributions out. You can repurchase that service at a later time, and I'm going to touch on that a little later in the presentation. But there's different types: out of state, military, private school, public school here in Georgia. But when you have a chance, just take a minute to think about what type of services may be eligible to buy towards your TRS benefit. And then you can go onto our website as well to check to see if maybe, hey, there might be some years that I did in the past that can be rolled over to my TRS benefit to get me closer to retirement eligibility. And then there's sick leave. So if you have at least 60 days of sick leave at the time that you retire, you can apply that towards your TRS benefit. Now, there's a maximum amount that can be applied towards your TRS benefit per month, and that's a day and a quarter. So you can earn a day and a quarter per month towards your sick leave credit. Some of you may work for a system that gives an amount higher than the day and a quarter, so that will be adjusted. So, for example, if you work 12 months out of the year and you happen to accrue 20 days of sick leave per year, that is above the day and a quarter. So, that will be adjusted by your employer before they send it over to us down to the 15-day per year maximum for that position. Now, here's just a quick example of how your sick leave can benefit you in your retirement. We had two teachers, Tom and Mary. They both worked for 26 years and they both earned 12 and a half days of sick leave. Tom always used his sick leave, but Mary rarely used hers. They both had the same high average salary of $4,500 at the time that they retired. Now, Tom, when he retired, he had the 26 years of service, which is great. We multiply that by 2%, and his high average salary was 4,500. Therefore, his monthly benefit will be 2,340. Mary had 312 days of sick leave, which equals 16 months of service. So we're going to add another year and 7 months of service to her retirement benefit. So that brings her up to 27 years and 7 months of service. Now, you notice that they both worked the same 26 years. However, Mary is going to have more credit because of that sick leave, and therefore her final monthly benefit is 2,500. So she's getting a greater benefit for the same amount of work because she had that sick leave. So if you don't have to take any sick leave, the sick leave is there for you to use, of course, if say you're having a child. If we happen to get sick, I was sick over the past few days, so I might be sounding a little nasal here, but sick leave is there for you to use. And if you have to use it, then by all means. But if you don't have to take too many mental health days, then your sick leave days can benefit you quite generously in your retirement. So something to think about as you're doing your financial planning. Now, we're going to switch over just a little bit and talk about vesting and what that means and how important that is towards your retirement planning. Now, vesting means that you have 10 years of service within the TRS system. Now, the reality is that a lot of people will be switching jobs, whether that's within the university system, the K through 12 system, technical college system, somewhere in Georgia, or maybe even outside of Georgia. And that's a reality that we face. A lot of people will switch jobs or get promoted. There are options that are out there. Now, one thing that we suggest is that if you can look within the TRS umbrella, it is quite vast. And there are many positions that you may not necessarily know that are in TRS that could be TRS eligible. But if there is an opportunity that you just cannot pass and you decide to terminate your employment and leave, then you have a couple of options. You can leave your funds with TRS. And if you do so, if you're vested, if you have 10 years of service, then you'll be eligible for a lifetime benefit at age 60. So let's say you're 50 years old, you have 10 years of service in, you decide to pursue another job, then you can leave your funds with TRS. And then at age 60, you'll start drawing your retirement benefit. At a later date, let's say you're 59, or maybe say you're over 60 and you want to come back to a TRS covered employer, you can continue to add towards that service credit to increase your retirement benefit. If you decide to withdraw the funds, then you are forfeiting that lifetime benefit. And you can take those funds in one or two ways. One is a lump sum payment paid directly to you, but you have to pay taxes and possibly penalties depending on your age. Or you can roll that over to, say, an IRA or another qualified retirement account to defer those taxes until you draw them in your retirement. But you can come back to a TRS covered employer, and many people do this. After 3 years, you can rebuy that service. So what you withdrew, you can purchase that back towards your TRS benefit. And this happens all the time. Withdrawing service is the most common type of service purchase that we process. So something to think about if you're at the decision of stopping your employment. Say you do need a break from what you're doing. You may want to think long and hard about, is this the right thing to do, to withdraw my funds from the TRS system? Because again, many people do find their ways back to TRS. Here's another quick example about withdrawing your TRS funds. Sarah began teaching at age 25 and after 17 years decided to leave to go into the private sector. So if she left her funds with TRS after those 17 years, we multiply that by 2%, 34% of her hybrid salary. So she would get $1,959 per month for the rest of her lifetime, plus eligible cost of living adjustments. If she decides to withdraw those funds, then she's looking at a withdrawal of, and it's going to be different for everybody, but she could withdraw almost 64,000, but she's withdrawing that lifetime benefit. So if you just do a quick calculation on almost $2,000 per month, you can see after a few years, she would withdraw the same amount in a lifetime benefit versus the lump sum benefit, and far surpass that by collecting that benefit for life, and could even possibly pass that on to somebody else. So something to think about again if you're thinking about withdrawing funds from your TRS covered employment. Now, that is a very, very quick summary of your TRS benefit. We're going to switch over to talk about supplementing your TRS benefit. The reality is that your TRS benefit is going to be very generous and can be a cornerstone of your retirement planning. However, there are a number of things that you have to consider outside of TRS to make sure that you're living the lifestyle that you're planning to live in your retirement. So, for some people, that's traveling. For some people, that might be having a cabin in the mountains. For some people, it might be right where you are. But whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have the financing to secure the type of retirement that you want. So here's some questions to ask yourself while you're working. What are your financial goals? And do you have a plan in place to achieve those goals? Have you established other retirement and investment accounts, such as a 401k or 403b, IRAs, or other savings? How are you managing your monthly expenses to achieve those financial goals? So basically is, for example, with a budget, are you having less go out the door than what's coming in the door? I know it sounds simple. It's kind of like dieting. It sounds simple, but sometimes it's a little harder to do. Are you contributing into Social Security in the system that you're in? And will your TRS benefit be enough to meet your financial goals? So these are all some things to consider as you're getting closer to retirement. Now, some of you may be 20, 30 years, 40 years away from retirement, and this might seem a little silly to be thinking about in the beginning, but trust me, time does go by and it goes by fast. I remember when I was 20 years old and I thought 20, 30 years was a long time away, but 20 years can go by quite fast. And in 20 years, I had a lot of hair up here and less down here, and things just kind of switched around. But over time, you'll find that the closer you get towards your retirement eligibility, the less time you think that you have. But it's never too late to get started. So again, you might want to consider working in a TRS covered employer longer. The longer you work, the higher your percentage is, and many times, the longer you work, the more promotions and increases in your salary you're going to get. So those are the two things that are going to increase your benefit the most as far as your TRS salary is concerned. Identify your spending habits. Again, the budgeting. So if you are not good at budgeting, remember when I first started out, when I was working, I was terrible at budgeting. And so there are so many different plans that are out there that you can take advantage of to buckle down your spending, to get some discipline in place. If you don't have a financial planner or advisor, that might be something worth looking into. Saving for a rainy day, having short-term and long-term savings, short-term being less than a year, long-term more than a year, and really just delaying some gratification and saving for the things that you want as opposed to maybe financing them. And consider, again, additional savings and investment options like a defined contribution plan. If you haven't already, and I'm sure most of you have done so already, make sure that you go to trsga.com and sign up for your TRS account and add your beneficiaries. We played a video in the beginning about beneficiaries and just how important that is. I cannot stress how important this is for you while you're working to have the correct information on file for your beneficiaries. And unfortunately, we do get a lot of sad situations where people thought that they updated their beneficiaries or never got around to it, and benefits have gone to somebody they didn't intend to, or benefits are locked up into probate. So you want to make sure that what you have on file with us is correct and is up to date. Again, you can come back here. We're going to leave recordings of this session, and we're going to be back here tomorrow as well. So if you didn't catch everything today, we're going to be on at the same time tomorrow. And after tomorrow, we're going to leave a copy of these sessions on YouTube so you can come back and also just look at the other videos that we have. There's a lot of great information that's there. So again, If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, or if you're on LinkedIn or Twitter, make sure that you do that. We post things to those channels all the time, and Facebook as well. Facebook is our largest channel, so make sure that you're joining there. So just to hammer the point about beneficiaries again, the beneficiary information is based on what we have on file. When you go through open enrollment, that updates everything on all of your flexible accounts and things with your employer, but that does not roll over to TRS. I want to emphasize again, that does not roll over to TRS. If you are a brand new employee, after 2 months, you will be able to go online and register your TRS account. If you've been an active TRS member for more than 2 months, then you can do that now. Make sure that you are periodically checking to make sure that the beneficiary information that we have on file is correct and accurate. So here's just a quick walkthrough of how to do it. It's very simple. You just go to our website. Right at the top, there's the TRS login. You click there, you're an active member. If you haven't registered, you register now. You log in with your account information, and there is, sorry about that, there is something that says manage my account. This tab here, manage my account. You click on that. You add your beneficiary information, update any other, you can verify this information here, update your beneficiary information. You agree to the terms that are there. Select the percentages that you like for the primary and secondaries, and you will verify, save that, and it's that simple. So again, we want to make sure that you are updating that information very often. It is so important. Again, I cannot emphasize just how important it is for you to update that information. And if you haven't already, make sure that you have liked and subscribed here. I know I keep hammering that point, but make sure that you like and subscribe. And here are the other channels that we have available for you. So you can open up your camera. You might be using your phone right now, but if you're looking on your computer, you can go there and you can follow us on our other plans. So right now, what I'm going to do is I am going to look at some of the comments here and just see if there's anything that I haven't answered so far. We are at 11:22 now, and we'll be on for the next 8 minutes or so. So I'm going to just pick some questions that have showed up here. So one that we have is, can I change my beneficiary information online? So yes, that information you can do online as long as you are an active member. You can change your beneficiary information online, and it's very quick and simple to do. So if you haven't already, make sure that you do that. If you are a retiree, I don't think we have any retirees here with us today, but if you are retired, then there's a different process for you. Please get in touch with us and we'll let you know what that process is. All right. So here's a question here. What are the money contributions invested within the plan? So there's a lot of different facets to the contributions, but here's a quick summary of how your contributions work. So you are paying into the TRS benefit at a rate of 6% of your salary. So 6% of your salary comes into the TRS benefit, and that goes into your account. On top of your 6%, you are accruing interest while you're working. So you are accruing interest at a little over 4% per year. You're getting that added onto your pot of money, so your TRS account. Your employer, and it varies from year to year. Some years it's a little over 19%, some years over 20%. Could be lower and higher. But your employer is also contributing on your behalf, and that goes into the TRS fund as well. So when you retire, these three things together, your TRS contributions, your interest, and the contributions that your employer is paying, along with investment income that we have, all of these things help to pay you out for the rest of your lifetime. So there is a point where what you put into the plan will be depleted. So let's say you have contributed from your salary, we'll round and say $100,000 over the course of your career. At some point, that would be paid out to you, and for the rest of your lifetime, that is coming from investment income and from your employer's contributions. Another question here, this is a really good one. Can a beneficiary be your parent who is also working for TRS? Yes. So you can list anyone as a beneficiary. You can list a minor. You can list somebody else that is a TRS beneficiary or a member. So a lot of times people that are in TRS are married to people that are in TRS, and they both will have their own benefit, and they both list each other as beneficiaries. So yes, you can list somebody else that will be receiving their own TRS benefit as a beneficiary on your plan. Another question here: what happens to my unused sick leave days if I invested with 10 years of service but stopped working before age 60 with fewer than 25 years? So this person has at least the 10 years of service, so they're vested, and maybe they will stop working before they reach age 60. Those sick leave days, along with the service, all of that is part for your retirement benefit. So let's say, for example, you have 10 years of service and you've accrued 100 years of sick leave days. You go into the private sector and then start drawing your retirement benefit at age 60. We will use both those sick leave days and the time that you accrued under your TRS covered employment to use towards your retirement benefit. So that is locked in for your retirement benefit. For those of you that have worked for more than one TRS covered employer, you can go ahead and get your TRS sick leave certified for your previous employment. So let's say I worked for DeKalb County and then I went over to Fulton County. I can go ahead and get my sick leave days from DeKalb County certified now. There's a form, it's a sick leave certification form. It's on our TRS website, and you download that form, send it to your employer, and they'll get your days over to us. So that's something to go ahead and do. It'll get it out the way before it's time to retire, and that'll be one less thing that you have to think about down the road. We have a question here about purchasing private school years. So can you begin purchasing private school years beginning on the 6th year of employment? So yes, in your 6th year of employment, you are eligible to start buying private school service, and that's private school years that are in Georgia. So for those of you that may have worked for an accredited private school here in the state of Georgia, after 6 years, in your 6th year, so after you complete your fifth, in your 6th year, you can go ahead and get in touch with us and start that process. There's a form that you certify your sick leave, your private school service. Here in Georgia is the certification of Georgia service. And you send that over to that private school. And once we get that information back, verify it, we'll let you know how much it is to buy that service. Another service purchase question is about military service. So in certain cases, you can apply military service towards your TRS benefit. And that is for service that you don't expect to use towards your military retirement benefit. So if you're vested with the military and you're going to be drawing a benefit, you wouldn't be able to use that towards your TRS benefit as well. There are some exceptions, and I believe that counts for like World War II and before that time frame. So there's not a lot of people that still qualify for that. But if, let's say, you have 5 years of service, you don't expect to be drawing any benefit from the military, and that's active duty service, you can submit your DD 214 to us. We will verify that and let you know how much it is to buy that service and add towards your retirement benefit. All right, I'm going to take a couple more questions here because we are almost at 11:30. Let's see. Here's a question. I have 9 years in TRS. How do I buy a year to get to retirement? I am a veteran. So thank you for your service. If you are, again, and this ties right back into the question about the military service. So if you're not expecting to draw a retirement benefit from the military, but you have service years, active duty service years, you can use that towards your retirement benefit. So at your earliest convenience, please send your DD 214 in, and we will take a look at that and let you know if you can buy that service. All right, last question that I'll take here, and we are still answering in the chat, but if you are vested, what happens after you're vested? So after you're vested, yeah, that's your 10 years of service. Your TRS benefit is locked in, and whether you decide to continue under the TRS covered employer or if you decide to go into the private sector, you have a retirement benefit that is available to you. So at age 60, that's the soonest that you can start drawing that benefit. Or let's say you hit 25 years or 30 years of service, before age 60, you can start drawing that benefit at that time. So that makes you eligible for retirement benefits. And that is so, so important for us. So that will conclude our session for today. We are almost at 11:30. We do have a survey that we like for our members to complete. Let me put that up for you all. Oh, not showing. Oh, that's okay. We'll get that up in a minute. But if you haven't already, again, I know I've said this a number of times already. If you haven't, please, please, please like and subscribe. If you aren't a subscriber already to one of our channels here, make sure that you come back to this channel for updates for different social media sites. Make sure that you go to our website to log into your account, check your beneficiaries, make sure that's up to date. And there's a host of different information. So to supplement what we talked about today, there's a member's guide, and that gives a very good overview of all the different options that are available for retirement. It goes into length about service purchases and your TRS benefits. So that is an extremely good resource that is available to you. And your HR department, they are a great resource as well. We could not do a lot of the things that we do here at TRS without the help of the HR staff. So that concludes our session for today. Again, I thank you so much for your time, for taking some time out of your schedule today. I hope that this new year is a one for the books. I hope that you meet all your goals and your resolutions. And we hope to see you maybe at the 2 o'clock session. But if not, thank you again. Have a great day.